It's Marilyn Price from the Mentor Project with one of apparently an all-time favorite, not just by me, but someone I was having breakfast with this morning when I brought along the book to, just do a little homework like I like to do for you, and was told by him that this was his favorite book growing up. And he is not a little kid anymore. But then again, these books, these Golden Book classics have such an important message, this one in particular. So he said to me, this book was really, really important to me growing up. So I thank you, Sam, for reminding me of that. This one is definitely for you and so many of our watchers. So here at the Mentor Project, we have all different kinds of mentors, right? This one, Scuffy, the tugboat, is definitely a mentor. So allow me to introduce the book and ways you can tell it. We're going to tell it in a different way today than I sometimes tell stories, and that is I'm going to take this beautiful book. I'm not going to write in it, although I forget to mention this to you. Every single Golden Book has one of these. You write your name in it, which makes it, of course, so much more important to you. So this little Golden Book belongs to me. I'm going to put my name in it. Not me, that's not my name. My name is Marilyn Price. So some years now down the road, somebody may still be reading Scuffy the Tugboat, and they'll open it up and they'll say, wonder who she is. So great. Thank you for joining my adventure. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use our book as a prop, a background. And what I did was I took these magical things called Post-its and I covered up the front. So now what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about Gertrude Crampton while I'm covering up the rest of our book. And I do it very carefully because none of this will hurt our book. But what it will do is it will serve as a plain backdrop for you to see the story and not the cover. The cover is awesome. I have no doubt about it. It was beautifully illustrated. Let me tell you a little bit about Gertrude Crampton, who was born in Brooklyn and went to the University of Michigan, go blue, where she took, in 1928, she took a course in education. And she must have learned stuff because this book is all about teaching kids to do what maybe they think they want to do and then to learn by doing it. So I give her great credit for studying and doing all sorts of things. So here we go. We're almost done. I'll show you what I did in a second, and you can do it too because Post-its make magic. And then you know what else they do when you're done? You can pick them right up. Now the principal hero of our story, so here's our backdrop. Because it is about a tugboat, has to be in water. You can do the same thing, hello, in with a piece of cardboard, but this is so much better. And then what I did was I took a picture of the tugboat, Scuffy, and I put it on a piece of cardboard. So he can be our puppet character, right? Because after all, this is a puppet show. And I thank you in advance for coming. So this story, Scuffy the Tugboat and His Adventures Down the River by Gertrude Crampton, illustrated by Tibor Gergely, and copyright 1946. That is older. Nah, not older than me, but old enough. So it's lived this long. Very impressive. So here we go. Scuffy was sad. Scuffy was cross. Scuffy sniffed his blue smokestack. A toy store is no place for a red-painted tugboat. And he sniffed his blue smokestack again. I was meant for bigger things. Perhaps you would not be cross if you were sailing, said the man with the polka-dotted tie who owned the shop. So that night he took Scuffy home to his little boy. He filled the bathtub with water. Sail, little tugboat, said the little boy. I won't sail in a tugboat. A tub is no place for a red-painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things. The next day, the man with the polka-dotted tie and his little boy carried Scuffy to a laughing brook that started high in the hills. "Sail," said the man with the polka-dotted tie and his little boy, and off went Scuffy. It was spring, and the brook was filled to the brim with its water, and the water moved in a hurry, as all things move in a hurry when it's spring. Scuffy was in a hurry, too. "Come back, little tugboat, come back," cried the little boy as the hurrying brimful brook carried Scuffy downstream. "Not I," said Scuffy, "not I. This is the life for me." All day Scuffy sailed along with the brook, past the meadows filled with cowslips, past the women washing clothes on the bank, past the little woods filled with violets. Cows came to the brook to drink. They stood in the cool water. To sail around between their legs and bump softly was fun. It was fun to see them drink. But when a white and brown cow almost drank Scuffy instead of the blue brook's cool water, Scuffy was frightened. This was not so much fun. Night came, and with it, the moon. There was nothing to see but the quiet trees. Suddenly an owl called out, "Hoot, hoot!" The little frightened tugboat said, "Toot, toot!" And he wished he could see the smiling face of the man with the polka-dotted tie. When morning came, Scuffy was cross instead of frightened. I was meant for bigger things. But which way was I to go? There was only one way to go, and that was with the running water where the two brooks met to form a small river. And with the river sailed Scuffy, the red-painted tugboat. He was proud when he raced past villages. "People build villages at the edge of my river," said Scuffy, and he straightened his blue smokestack. Once Scuffy's river joined a small one, jammed with logs. Here were men in heavy jackets and great boots, walking around on floating logs, trying to set them free. "Toot, toot, let me through." They pushed the logs apart so they could drift with the river to the small mill to the town. Scuffy bumped along with the jostling logs. "Ouch!" he cried as two logs bumped together. "This is a fine river, but it's very busy and very big for me." He was proud when he sailed under the bridge. "My river is so wide and so deep that people must build bridges to cross it." The river moved along big towns now instead of villages, and the bridges were very wide, wide enough so that many cars and trucks and streetcars could all cross at once. The river got deeper and deeper and deeper. Scuffy did not have to tuck up his bottom anymore. The river moved faster and faster. "I feel like a train instead of a tugboat." As he hurried along, he was proud when he passed an old sawmill with its water wheel. But high in the hills and the mountains, the winter snow melted. Water filled the brooks and rushed from here into the small rivers. Faster and faster it flowed to the great river where Scuffy sailed. "There's too much water in this river." As he pitched and tossed on the waves, "Soon it will splash over the top. What a flood there will be." Soon great armies of men came to save the fields and towns from the rushing water. They filled bags with sand and put them at the edge of the river. "They're making higher banks for the river to hold the water back." The water rose higher and higher, and the men built the sandbags higher and higher. Higher went the river, higher went the sandbags. At last the water rose no more, and the flood water rushed out to sea, and Scuffy raced along with the flood. The people and the fields and the towns were safe. On went the river to the sea. At last Scuffy sailed into a big city where the river widened. Oh, it was a busy place and a noisy place. The cranes groaned as they swung the cargoes into great ships, and the porters shouted as they carried suitcases and boxes on board. Horses stamped and truck rivers roared, streetcars clanged, and people shouted. Scuffy said, "Toot, toot," but nobody noticed. "Oh no," cried Scuffy when he saw the sea. "There is no beginning and there is no end. I wish I could find the man with the polka-dotted bow tie and his little boy." Just as the little red tugboat sailed past the last piece of land, a hand reached out and picked him up. And there was the man with the polka-dotted red tie and his little boy beside him. Scuffy is home now, with the man with the polka-dotted dot tie and his little boy. He sails from one end of the bathtub to the other. This is the place for me. This is the place for a little pink tugboat. And this is the life for me. And so it goes. One adventure following another, one lesson following another. Scuffy the Tugboat, copyright 1946, sold more books than you can possibly imagine. Written by Gertrude, Crampton, and illustrated by Timur Gergely. Such a good book. I am so glad I got to tell it to you on the Mentor Project, with hopes that you have a lovely day, and that if you'd like to relax in the tub, take a tugboat and tell your adventure to it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, from Scuffy and from me, that